Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Abiding in Grace podcast. This is your host, Grace, and welcome to season 2, episode 5, 'Tis the Season. So, I mentioned this a little bit in the last episode, but we're in the month of November, and then after November comes December. And like Thanksgiving's in like 2 weeks, I think, or like 3 weeks. So everybody in my family is trying to get together their best recipes for like desserts. My dad, he made like a sweet potato pie the other day. It was bussin' for sure. It was so good. And my mom, she made this like apple cake thing. And the interesting thing about it is, this year, I'm gonna try to cook some collard greens. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, nobody in my family ever made collard greens, but I was like, I'm down to learn. So I think in a couple of days, I'm gonna like test run it. And I think it's gonna be so fun because my sister's hosting Thanksgiving this year. And yeah, it's just gonna be like new traditions, new moments, new memories. But anyway, so as I'm getting into the Christmas spirit and the holiday spirit, it's like a time of excitement, a time of joy, a time of being around family. I am reminded that this time of year is not always the best for everybody. I know it's like final season, or almost about to be final season, like winter break, and this is a time of year where a lot of people are alone. They deal with things like seasonal depression, and they deal with loneliness, and they deal with remembering loved ones who they've lost or who they may not have the best relationships with. And I just wanted to give a little bit of some reminders to kind of combat the feelings that a lot of people go through around this time of year. And yeah, so before I get into the reminders that I have 3 questions for y'all today. And it's kind of like a self-care check-in. So question number 1, did you eat today? Did you eat today? Whether it's a piece of fruit, whether it's a whole meal, whether it's a snack, I would encourage you to eat something today. So did you drink water today? Did you drink juice? Did you drink something to fill you up, something to hydrate you today? I would encourage you to do that if you haven't done that today yet. And question number 3, did you spend time with God today? Were you in your word? Were you in prayer? Were you just talking to the Lord? Just unpacking some things? Were you just sitting in his presence, not necessarily doing anything? And it is okay if you answered no to any of these questions, or maybe all of them. Sometimes we go through spiritual highs and lows, especially when we're not feeling so good mentally or physically or emotionally. And I would just encourage anyone who does feel like that today, that it is okay. And there's always room to grow every single day from where you were the day before. And so, yeah. So let's get into the reminders. So reminder number 1, you are not alone. You are not alone. So sometimes we can be around other people, but we still feel alone. We still feel like people don't see us or hear us or acknowledge us. And it could just be like a crushing feeling. I've definitely felt this before. It's like you're in a room full of people and you just feel so alone and you're like in your head. But the truth about it is, even if we feel alone, we're never alone because God is with us. So I'm going to read Isaiah 41:10 in the New Living Translation. It says, "Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand." Amen. Reminder number 2, God is your refuge and strength. So, where do I go when I feel alone? Where do I run to when I feel not my best mentally? Run to God. God is a great place and person to run to because he'll never turn you away and he'll never condemn you for turning to him. He's not like, oh my gosh, you're so weak that you need me. He's actually like, come closer, come. Just like the prodigal son. It's like, oh my gosh, you're back. Like, I'm so happy for you. I'm excited. Like, let's boogie. Like, that whole thing. So I'm going to read the whole chapter of Psalms 46. Psalms 46 in the Passion Translation. It says, God is on our side, for the pure and shining one, by the prophetic singers of Korah's clan, a poetic song to the melody of hidden things. God, you're such a safe and powerful place to find refuge. You're a proven help in time of trouble, more than enough and always available whenever I need you. So we will never fear, even if every structure of support were to crumble away. We will not fear when the earth quakes and shakes, moving mountains and casting them into the sea. For the raging roar of stormy winds and crashing waves cannot erode our faith in you. God has a constantly flowing river whose sparkling streams bring joy and delight to his people. His river flows right through the city of God Most High, into his holy dwelling places. God is in the midst of his city, secure and never shaken. At daybreak, his help will be seen with the appearing of the dawn. When the nations are in uproar with their tottering kingdoms, God simply raises his voice and the earth begins to disintegrate before him. Here he comes. The commander, the mighty Lord of angel armies is on our side. The God of Jacob fights for us. Everyone look. Come and see the breathtaking wonders of our God, for he brings both ruin and revival. He's the one who makes conflicts end throughout the earth, breaking and burning every weapon of war. Surrender your anxiety. Be still and realize that I am God. I am God above all the nations, and I am exalted throughout the whole earth. Here he stands, the commander. The mighty Lord of angel armies is on our side. The God of Jacob fights for us. Reminder number 3, give it all to God because he cares about you. Sometimes we have the tendency to just hold on to stuff. I'll speak for myself. I have the ability to I have the tendency to, sometimes I just hold on to things, whether it's like past memories or past hurts or worries, and I just keep it all in my mind and just replay it over and over and over again. I'm like ruminating on it. And it's like God promises us peace and he promises us refuge if we come to him. And so it's like, if we don't come to him, it's just like we gotta like bask in it and just like let it try to like overtake our minds. But it's like when we come to him, he invites us to give it all to him so that we don't have to be walking around anxious. We don't gotta walk around depressed. We don't gotta walk around feeling lonely. And it's like, yes, those feelings still come around, but it's like, it's such an anchor to know that God is on your side and God is with you and he is for you. And so I'm going to read 1 Peter 5:7 in New International Version. It says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Did you know that God cares about you? Did you know that he cares for you? Sometimes you may not feel it. Sometimes you may not understand why certain things are happening to you or your family members or your friends. Sometimes you might not even want to pray. Like, why would I want to pray if I'm feeling like this? Why would I want to be in my word if I'm feeling like this? Why would I want to be in community if I'm feeling like this? And that's okay. I'll be the first person to admit, like, that's okay, because sometimes you don't feel it. It's really not, like, this faith walk is not about feelings. It's about what you believe. Because there'll be moments, I'll be honest, there'll be moments where, especially going through this whole sickness thing, I literally hit the 5-year mark yesterday, like last night. And there's moments where you just feel so defeated and discouraged. And it's just like, well, I really don't feel like praying, but I believe that God is my healer. And I believe that God is who he said he is. And I believe that God will, his peace that passes all understanding will be with me. And he will draw close to me when I draw close to him. So it's like, yes, like, I have feelings. You know, go through what you need to go through, feel what you need to feel. But after that, it's like, on the other side of it, it's like, well, what do you believe? I mentioned this in, I think, like, this whole season so far. It's like, well, who is God to you? Like, even in your hurts, it's like, do you still see God as the comforter? Do you still see God as your friend? Do you still see God as your father? Do you still see God as your refuge, your strength, the person that you can give all your burdens to, the person that will take care of you, the person that will make a way for you? Like, who do you see God as? And it's like, maybe you're not sure, but it's okay. Wherever you find yourself in the midst of this season of the holidays and we're about to enter a new year, I just wanted to remind you that you are not alone, that God is with you, that it's okay if you need extra resources, whether it be physically, mentally, or spiritually. It's okay if you feel like you can't be strong, because in our weakness, God's strength can be shown best through us and in us. And it's okay if you go through spiritual highs and lows during this season. But just know that whenever you want to come back to the Lord, he is waiting for you. And he cares so much about you. There's so many scriptures in the Bible where it talks about how God delights in us and God loves us and God has this supernatural care for us. It's above what our parents could give us. It's above what our friends could give us. It's above what we can even give ourselves. And God is eternal, but God is also alive. And so the reason why God is a present help in a time of trouble is because he's alive and he's right there and he sees it all and he hears it all and he's with us. So thank you for coming to the end of this episode. Thank you for listening to this season or this show up until this point. We're in the halfway mark of the season. So I hope, God willing, to pick this show back up in 2024. But if there is another episode, you will see me again this year. Feel free to follow the show's Instagram on Instagram at Abiding in Grace Podcast. Feel free to listen to this season and the past season on Apple, Google, and Spotify podcasts. And without further ado, have a beautiful rest of your day and have a great Thanksgiving, Christmas, Boxing Day, New Year's, whatever holidays are in between. I hope you enjoy it and be safe, y'all. Be blessed and bye.